being resolved ASAP. So yes, it is an issue, but I do believe there are several things that need to be addressed before we get to that point. Yeah.
So one more question, and then I'll rely on Siddharth to tell me whether we have time for questions from all of you. One of the things we teach at our School of Government every year, in which we have a very hefty representation of Indian students, including one that's here, is that you need to develop political priorities. And having a big list of priorities actually means having no priorities, because to prioritize means to choose the one or two things that are really important for you to focus on. And that it's that political will, it allows that political will and purpose to focus on one or two things. So my last question to you is, in a future in which you were chief minister, what would your one or two priorities be for Telangana going forward?
I think, without economic growth, without growing your economy, you would not be able to accomplish, any kind of objective that you may have for yourself. So I would say the first and foremost priority would be continuous economic growth and economic expansion, creation of wealth. And I think parallelly, a country like India, you cannot be oblivious to the fact that there is a huge population which basically needs support and, the vulnerable section in the country, which needs a bit of hand-holding. So I'd say continue to push the economic agenda, continue to create jobs, continue to attract investments, continue to, create wealth, parallelly ensure that you take care of the most vulnerable. So I'd say a fine balance of welfare and economic growth is what we've seen in Telangana, and I think that has worked brilliantly. And, we are not the West, we are not the UK or the US to be completely oblivious, to be completely ignorant of the asks, of the demands, of the population which is really yearning and which is really wanting a certain upliftment in terms of standards. So of course, healthcare, education would be priorities, but I would say you need economic growth to fund them. You'd need economic growth to make this happen, to effect this change. So a good combo of economics and welfare is what I would say.
Great. Two questions, I'm told. Oh, that's a tough. All right. I know that you've already asked a question, so let me start there. Yes, please.
Mr. Rao, youth political participation in India is definitely skewed, and Telangana is not aided to the entire concept. But in your political experience, both as a mentor and a sponsor, have you had an opportunity to mentor young women to get into politics? And if you have, what are the bottlenecks that you think women face and how they can change their entire discourse around?
Like every other field, like Preeta was asked the same question as well, like every other field, women do have challenges without a question. But I think that's set to change now with the reservation that has already been passed, legislated. I think that is really going to be a game changer for our country. And 1/3 is obviously by default, it is something that no party or no leader or no state has to, make it happen now. But if we are able to go beyond that 1/3, and if we're able to possibly push for 40%, I think most certainly I believe, in fact, Preeta was probably being a bit, probably holding back, I'd say. I can say this more openly. I think women do a lot of things better. You're more organized. You're probably a lot more focused. So I think India will see not just leapfrogging, but pole vaulting in the next decade after women start participating and women start becoming lawmakers and becoming change makers. So yes, we are going to witness that in our lifetime. Somebody said, will I see this in this lifetime? I do believe it is going to happen in our lifetime. I'm 48 now, so I'd probably be around for another 25 years. So most certainly, I hope I'll see that in my lifetime. Thank you.
One more question. Yes.
So when it comes to this 9 billion distributed and probably farmers account, okay. So what is the actual impact? Okay, because when you give someone certain fund and you do not probably educate them how to use this fund, because the money will get over someday. Okay, so when it comes to how successful was that scheme when you are actually depositing the money directly to the farmers?
There are two styles of thinking when it comes to this. There is this conservative thinking that you need to possibly not give money, but probably give them seeds or fertilizers or probably some sort of a input that really goes into agriculture. Then there is the other line of thought that, trust the farmer. Give it to them and leave it to them to decide on what will they actually be spending. And we chose the latter. The reason why I say this is because, What is economy ultimately? What is economic growth? It is the role of a rupee or a role of a dollar or a role of a pound. So as long as you're empowering your citizens, as long as you're empowering your state to make investments into capital infrastructure, and that's exactly why Telangana has moved from rank 14 in per capita to rank 1 in a span of 10 years. That's exactly why Telangana, which was only producing about 68 lakh metric tons of paddy in 2014, has been able to produce 3 crore tons of paddy in 2023. Trust your people. Trust your instincts. Trust your people. And that's what we've done. It worked. If you ask me, was there no deviation from the purpose? Probably there was, to an extent. I would not be able to quantify in terms of percentage. But by and large, was it successful? I'd say it's probably the most successful thing that we've done by depositing $9 billion into 7 million farmers' accounts and have changed the landscape, have changed the future of Telangana's agriculture for good. I think that's a fantastic feat, if you ask me.
So, trust between politicians and citizens, I think, is an excellent note to end on. Please join me in thanking a really wonderfully frank discussion with KT Ramarao.